All right, good morning, folks. This is Coffee with Community Services for February 2nd, 2024. This is John Decker, the Director of Community Services for Alta California Regional Center. This is our weekly service provider meeting. It is 11:03 a.m. and we've got 61 folks on so far. So good morning, everyone. We'll, as usual, introduce our community services staff and our management that are on, and then we'll get into our agenda. So for this morning, I see our housing specialist, Rhonda, and our employment specialist, Carly, on. Good morning. And Gary from Community Services and our Community Assurance and Compliance Manager, Scott, is on. And let's see, I see Tom and Belinda from Community Services. Good morning. And Beverly is on, and Shauna from Community Services. And our lead Community Services Specialist, Jason, is on this morning. And Kylie, our HCBS specialist. Good morning. We have Michelle, our community services manager, on. Good morning. And Alicia. Good morning, Alicia, as well, our HCBS specialist. Good morning. And from community services, I see Sydney on. Good morning. I see from our HCBS specialist, Marty is on. Our director of client services, Jennifer Bloom, is on. And we have Jaslyn from community services. Good morning, Jaslyn. And let's see, from community services, I see Christine. I see our client services manager out in Woodland, Veronica. Good morning, Veronica. And let's see who else we got from community services. I see Leah on from community services. Good morning. I see Heather on, our lead. Good morning. Acute care coordinator as well, one of those people that wears several hats at the regional center. I see Ethan on and Rihanna. Good morning as well. And our manager, Helen, too. Good morning. And our Associate Client Services Director, Faye, is on. I see Aleja from Community Services and Ms. Julie Rockfall, our SIR Coordinator as well. All right, good morning, folks. Big group on. Got 67 folks here for our agenda for today. It started short just a few minutes ago, and it seems to have gotten a little bit longer. So a few things. We're going to talk about the DSP stipend. We've received some feedback from service providers, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about ICF lag payments. We have a message going out that Christine's going to be sending, I think, today to folks. And if Johnny is not on, I will be sharing that message as it relates to the ICF lag payments. I believe we have Hannah on, Jason, for a spotlight today. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. And then we have Carly just has a number of things going on in her world. And so I don't know why this week seemed to revolve around Sierra College, but there's a few different things that we've got going on. Uh, I know we're going to do a Sierra College like presentation, I think by Angel Spotlight in a few weeks, but maybe we can talk about the vendorization, Carly, and talk about the um, LPA meeting and kind of that stuff. So, and Rhonda, we'll talk about our other meeting, our housing meeting that we did up in Placer County with the Sierra folks and the politicians up there. And we had vendor forum, so we'll discuss that briefly. We'll go over the upcoming things on the DDS calendar. We have an update. We've submitted our HCBS grant information, and so we'll share that information. Um, we've got payment information related to DSP stipends and DSP surveys. We've got an update from Jordan, maybe in a little bit, on our upcoming CPP, CRDP request for proposals. I think I will share the DSP Collaborative website, Carly, and because I know we've got it updated now with the job fair that we want to talk about. And then we've got some things on the ACRC calendar, including our public meeting that is coming up as well. So with that, if there's any other agenda items or other things that you all want to talk about here with us this week, then you can put that in the chat and we can discuss that too. But with Hannah being here and right on time, why don't we start maybe with Hannah and have them do their spotlight. So Jason, you want to introduce Hannah?
Yes, so Tom is going to be presenting from Hannah Interpreting Services. So Tom, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, everybody. I am Tom from Hannah Interpreting. Some of you may know us. I'm another co-host. We are a San Diego-based language access provider with regional offices throughout the state of California. We have been a proud partner of Alta Regional Center since, I believe, 2015, so almost a decade now, which feels a bit weird to say. But we provide interpretation and translation services to organizations that don't speak English. We work with many of the regional centers, and I'll get into all of that good stuff. But basically, if you've got a client who doesn't speak English, we partner with the organization to send an in-person interpreter, a video interpreter, telephonic interpreter, or document translations if there's some marketing material, brochures, letters, or IPPs that you need translated for your clients. But I'll take a step back, just tell you all who I am, who Hannah is. It's been a while since I actually was in when we were onboarded, made the visit to Alta's headquarters, so it was a different time back then. But I appreciate that this time to speak to all of you virtually. So who is Hannah? We were founded in 2010 by myself and Jennifer. And I happen to know Jennifer because she's my mom. And so it's a mother and son duo here at Hannah. At least that's how it started. Jennifer was an Arabic interpreter for quite some time. And she, after the war, the Iraq war, here in San Diego, we had a flood of Iraqi refugees coming into San Diego, and she was helping as best as she could as a volunteer interpreter. Myself at the time in 2010, I was in law school. And I decided, hey, let me see if I can help my mom out with managing her calendar and whatnot. And so I was doing that. I didn't really have any intention of doing anything other than that, but I was helping her with her phone calls and her calendar and turning on her computer. Sorry, small joke. But yeah, so it started off with that, and slowly but surely we started getting good feedback from clients to say, well, who are you guys? What's company are you with? And what other languages do you offer? And again, we never had any intention of going beyond just Jennifer and her services, but we found that there was something happening in terms of what we were doing. And to us, to my mom and I, it was just something we were proud to do. And so we're giving our best efforts and customer services as best as we could. And we realized that there was kind of a gap in language access to where the customer service end of it, the reliability end of things, that was missing. And we were filling that. And so sooner we started adding more languages, and very proud to say that after 14 years, we've grown from my mom and I working together at our home to now nearly 100 full-time team members. We have over 3,000 active interpreters and translators. And something I'm very proud to say is that in 2023, we were ranked amongst the top 75 language service providers in the world, which is just like crazy to us because, again, we never set out to do this. But we accomplished it, again, with the focus on trying to make things simple for our clients and focusing on customer service. And customer service in 250 languages is what we offer. But I like to make the joke that we speak 251 languages because that one extra language is the regional center language that we have learned to speak in the last 10 years. So it is, the regional center is its own beast. That you've got your own rules and regulations and processes that you need to follow. And over the last 10 years, we really made an emphasis on being your support system. We work hand in hand with the SCs. It's amazing to be able to see you all and talk to you all in this fashion because we work a lot together, over email and over phone. So I appreciate this time to work with you. I know you're all very busy. And so we try to be, because we've had that familiarity over the last 10 years, we try to be your support to where we help guide with the POSs, and we're managing the POSs now. We have actually an internal team that just services you all to make sure that everything is good to go from the moment that you request an interpreter at intake to when the POS gets put in place, and making sure that the POS doesn't expire or run out of funds, or that the service code is correct, the vendor number is correct. A lot of things are always changing, as you know, and so we try to stay ahead of that so we could support you all, the SCs who are on the boots on the ground out there. You don't have time to maybe comb through a lot of this stuff. And so we will support you along the way. And I think that's why we've been able to build so many great relationships over the years, is because we are that. We do try to make your jobs easier. And so we've had this wonderful relationship with Alta. Thank you, Michelle. We actually now are working with almost all 21 regional centers in the state. It's been an amazing partnership. You know, we also work with DDS, so we get it. We get that there's ever-changing rules and regulations and things are tough. And so we are trying to stay one step ahead of that. We understand some of the issues that you face in terms of, we heard from one regional center that, hey, we got a huge backlog because we can't find enough multilingual therapists. But we will be that stopgap for you to where you don't need multilingual therapists. You can come to us. We've got the interpreters. We can make that connection happen so that your workload decreases. You could see more clients and so on. So we're here again, doing what we can. I'm sure a lot of you know our team members here who work with you daily, but happy to answer questions. But I will just again reiterate the services that you all pretty much use us for are in-person interpretation. I know after COVID things went virtual a lot more, but we do all three of those: in-person interpretation, in-person interpretation, video interpretation, and telephonic interpretation. And then we do document translations a lot for you all. And that is mainly IPPs. We do a lot of those, but the language access unit, the new language access units are utilizing our services for brochures, flyers, you know, everything that DDS is coming down hard on the regional centers for. We are there to support you. I know there's a big focus on language access. And so we are even taking it one step further and introducing our portals. In the past, historically, you know, we would work with you all by phone or email. And we have portals that we'd love to demo for you, not in this setting, but at a later time. But essentially, we have easy to access portals that all of you can access 24/7 and just log in and submit an interpreter request or submit a document translation request all in one place. And for the management and whoever else, you have oversight and you can see that, or you can back each other up. If somebody's out, you submitted an IPP, but you've got to get it out that day because of timelines. Somebody can come in and say, oh, hey, I'm in this unit. Let me grab that and distribute it. So trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get the language access that you need to meet those requirements and to meet the needs of the client, of course, because at the end of the day, they're who's most important and they need to understand what's happening because, you know, it's not easy, as we all know, for English speakers to understand all of the hoops and all of the regulations and requirements. So if you're a non-English speaker, it just is, you know, multiply that difficulty and confusion by 10. So that's what, in a nutshell, our spotlight time. That's what who we are, what we do. Love to answer some questions. And before I do, I just want to state that Sean, who's on this call, or Daisy, your account manager, will be dropping a link in the chat to say that we are hosting now office hours every month for the regional center. So it's just an open hour that you can drop in if you'd like, ask questions, ask for a training. We're there to support you. So it's going to be every Tuesday, and the first one is this Tuesday, February 6th at 11 a.m. We'd love for you all to join. No obligation. We will record it, however, and distribute it. So if you can't make it, feel free to just register and we'll send you the link afterwards to the recording and you can watch that. And lastly, I will say that you do have a dedicated account manager. Daisy, if you're on the call, feel free to say hello.
Hi, everyone. I put my information in the chat just in case if anybody needs it. Thank you. Good to see everyone.
Awesome. Daisy's your dedicated rep. You can go to her, ask her any questions. And then we also have an implementation team. So outside of just this Tuesday's office hours, we're always available to help train on all our portals or ask questions. So with that, I don't know if I'm out of time or not, but
no, you're perfect, Tom. Sean, I don't know if we had you unmute and introduce yourself real quick, just so you
Okay.
pop up on people's cameras.
I'm Sean Spicer. I am head of revenue operations here at Hannah, and just love the ride and love being able to support the community.
Excellent. I saw the Michelle Ramirez's had some questions in there, but I think that Daisy's contact information for everyone and an offer of being able to have, office hours over here should certainly be able to help us get the specific questions that came up from a lot of our service coordinators and other folks that are, because we've got quite a few folks on our regional center staff as well. I would just share that I personally appreciate having Hannah helping out with our newsletter and being able to get the turnaround time, honestly, so quickly in just so many different languages. And honestly, just like the ease and convenience of working and doing that translation. So not only on the purchase of service side and supporting our clients, but also on our operations side as well for our regional center, we get the support from them. So if you have further questions, though, we do have everything there in the chat for them. Let's see.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think very good. So yeah, please take the opportunity to reach out to Daisy directly for those questions and attend those office hours. That's great. So refresh my recollection, Jason, I think you are the man now as it relates to spotlights.
Yes, I am, and I'll go ahead and put my email again in the chat. So if you would like your agency to be spotlighted and copied with community services, please send me a quick email and I can get that scheduled for you.
Awesome. And I will say, we will also take a look at the chat and reach out to you individually, maybe during this meeting as well, to answer some of the questions. But I appreciate everyone's support in the chat as well. It's exciting to see that we've been able to make an impact on you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, very cool. I appreciate you saying that you didn't have to learn 21 new languages because the regional centers all do things differently at every single regional center.
Actually. We're learning.
Okay.
Yep.
To me, that sounds a little bit more accurate because, but again, I really appreciate it because even in this case, like with us, you have how many different even types of contracts? You have our purchase of service. You
Right.
have the stuff that Shamir like runs through you guys as well. He's got a bunch, right?
Yep.
Like we've got different ways to pay for things. So all right,
Exactly.
let's
and I'll just say we separate that in different buckets so that once you request something for operations, language access unit, or POS services, we take care of the billing to make it as easy as possible. So, and one other language, the e-billing language, that one is a tough one to learn.
Oh, Propio.
Yeah, cool.
Very good. Thank you, Shimmer, too. All right. So, hey, Johnny, I wonder if, because I have you on right now, I wonder if you would be willing for us to just share a little bit about the ICF lag letter that I believe Christine is sending out today to our ICF providers. I think she got
it should have went out
message.
already. Yeah. So I can touch on that a little bit, John.
Yeah, please.
So for our ICF providers, as you guys are aware, the transition of funding for those placements shifted from fee-for-service Medi-Cal to Medi-Cal managed care plans effective January 1st of this year. With that, it may take some time for providers to get paid, right? So DDS had put out a letter along with an agreement form as well as an attestation where it allows ICF providers to come to the regional center for funding as a lag. And so essentially it's a loan. The intent is not to replace the fund from Medi-Cal, but more so to fill in that gap as they wait for funding from Medi-Cal. And so if there's any ICF providers that have gone through the various steps to try to either bill or has billed but haven't been paid yet within 30 days, then they can go to their SC service coordinator with the 2 forms completed and then initiate funding through that process. And then basically as a regional center, we have 10 days turnaround to then release payment. The idea is to help, ICF providers to stay on float until they work through whatever that they need to work through to get payment from Medi-Cal managed care plans. So that should have went out this morning. I know Christine Hobbs sent that out to our ICF providers. If there's any questions as it relates to this process, certainly feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on that email. And then we also put the links that DDS put out, those letters and the 2 forms that's on that email. I just want to go in and note that DDS has since updated those forms. There's been a revision. And so I made a small note in that email with those attachments to be used. And so again, if there's any questions, and feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you very much. Johnny has had to become the guru in all things ICFs, as well as the transition that's going on from fee for service. And so I appreciate it, because having the regional centers all kind of have a point of contact, and Johnny's taken on that responsibility for us. And we did mention last week, oh, thank you. And Johnny's put his email address in there as well. We did mention last week that we were batch adding all of the service codes to the ICF providers, so that so that as soon as it comes up, we'll be able to worry about doing the authorizations like right away, rather than having to look at adding specific service codes. Yeah, adding the service codes to the rate table for this specifically. So my understanding is that's going to be all taken care of, and I know that these claims are already starting to roll in with other regional centers. Oh, Michelle, give us the thumbs up. It is taken care of then. So thank you very much, Johnny, for the update on that. Thank you for getting the correspondence out to our ICF providers. And, we will see what the impact is. We'll see how much, starts coming in, and we'll see, we just need, I think we need to make sure that the communication is working really well between the service providers and the clients and the, planning team, and getting things authorized and the information to us. And so I think this is one of those situations for ICF providers, which I scrolled through and I saw that we had a couple on here today right now. But if you have Johnny's email address, it came with that information that was sent out. And so, we want you to work through the service coordinators. We want you to work through their managers, but this is something that we have a short time frame. I think it's a 10-day turnaround to do the payments. For our clients that are in other regional centers ICFs, or other regional centers clients that are in our ICFs, that's one of those things that we're trying to figure out right now. So I think, Johnny, we might need to identify that real quickly, because there needs to be a payment mechanism arranged, or we need to send those service codes that we set up for all of ours that have clients from other regional centers. We need to send those service codes over to the other regional centers as soon as possible. So, Michelle, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we need to take a look at that list for ICF clients. I'll just put one note there. All right. Those of you that are familiar with managed care recognize that there's a high likelihood that we're going to have more than 30-day delays on authorizations of payments. And so just trying to get ourselves prepared for it. Our accounting department's in the loop. We just met about it a little bit this morning, and there's statewide emails going around today about it. All right. We have a couple things about the DSP stipend. We have our DSP stipend update on our statewide numbers, and then we also have a discussion about the way in which we have the information given to us. Michelle Ramirez from On My Own had to back and forth with Iqbal discussing it this week. I know Michelle Duchesne has had discussions with folks about it as well, and so we just kind of want to provide a little update about that as well. And I think we'll talk about it again during the Provider Advisory Committee. I think Michelle is a co-host, but if not, I will make you one so that you can share your screen, if you can, with our statewide numbers for the DSP stipend, please.
All right. It is, oh, there it is. It finally popped up. Sorry about that. Okay. Can you see the numbers, John?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So just a little update on our numbers from last week. So effective the 30th of January, we are now at statewide 42,275 DSPs registered for trainings. And also, so it looks like over the last week, we've had a growth of 7.6% of total trainings, with a total of 7,733 trainings. So that still puts our regional center about 1,000 trainings above all the other regional centers. So thank you. Continue to, share with your DSPs, and we just want to kind of provide that information to you. I will stop sharing my screen. So I met with accounting this morning. They did let us know that they are issuing another bulk batch of payments for the DSP stipend next week, and it's about $361,000 worth of stipends that we will be issuing sometime next week. And then, John, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about.
I'm just real quickly about the DSP stipend. I was just going to share just talking about our weekly growth, and just talking about the kind of where we're at. Because everyone see this on my screen here, the Excel. So, this is where, as we've grown. And what I would point out too is like when you look at the statewide, this totals up to 100%. If you look at all the regional centers, and we at the 7.6% that we just showed for this week, our regional center still has the largest amount of growth of any regional center. Where like we bumped back up in a higher percentage. So again, like we are not the largest regional center by far. Like San Diego Regional Center has 40,000 clients now. Inland Regional Center has 50,000 clients now. North LA Regional Center has like 38,000 clients. We're not like the biggest, but just as service providers, you guys are performing because you're sending your DSPs to participate in this training. And so I can't say enough about how pleased we are to know that we've got this many people that are getting trained. And we are going to keep pushing more and more participation in it because we know it's a huge benefit to you to have trained staff and to the staff to be able to get a little extra money to do training. That being said, we've received some feedback from our service providers wanting some additional information as it relates to the individuals for which the stipend payments are attributed to. So the service providers that are interested in gathering that information, if they received a payment, I believe, how much are we paying out this next time, Michelle? Did we already say?
Yeah, 360,000.
360,000, that's a lot. And that represents a lot of different service providers. And so if there was a service provider, that was running into a challenge, being able to reconcile that, the email address is in the chat there, right? And you are welcome to send an email to that chat and our staff can take a look at it and do our very best to provide you a response to your request. We are under, a significant amount of, I don't want to call it strain per se, but the additional processing times and the time frames make it so that it does make it a little bit of a challenge. And I know that part of that's related to the way that we receive the information as well. It just doesn't make it as easy for us to turn around the information back to you as providers. But so that Michelle Duchesne, did I cover basically kind of what the expectation is? I know we met with Robin LeMay about it a little bit this morning. And again, I recognize the impact of service providers trying to reconcile with their staff because you're getting a payment and it does not appear like it may coincide with the documentation that's being provided by your DSPs. So again, that would be the method to be able to do that. I think our plan is to also talk about this again during the Provider Advisory Committee meeting, which is next Thursday as well. Any other questions about the DSP stipend, or is there anything else about the kind of the reconciliation aspect of it? I want to let folks know the message has been loud and clearly heard, and we will do our very best to get that stuff back to you as quickly as possible. All right. But I mean, again, and I'm looking for ideas. I don't know if I want to kind of do a mailing out to all of our service providers as just a reminder. I think there might well be, care homes that are not as in tune with things and may, have not sent their staff yet to do these trainings. And so, my staff, we can talk about that as well, but I'm open to even more ideas about how we can promote participation in the DSP stipend. Does anyone know offhand when the time frame ends for the trainings for the DSP stipend?
It's June? It's June of this year.
Yeah, like it would be so cool if we could like keep I mean, I think I've told you guys multiple times in this meeting that there's way more DSPs in our community than many of you think there are, just because there's so many clients and so many of you service providers. I would just love for us to continue this push. But as I say that, I also recognize that you guys got, I think 150 a pop to process these things. And there's a lot of work that also goes on your end to be able to process all of this as well. And being able to get some of the stuff reconciled would certainly be helpful. With that, perfect timing. We have, it has to be funding. There's a question about IHSS. It has to be someone that's funded through the regional center services and is provided services in line with the indication on the directive. So I think it has to be 10 hours, something to that effect. But we would have to pull up the directive. Maybe someone can drop the directive in the chat there that outlines the guidelines to participate in the DSP stipend. So as I mentioned, we will be talking about the DSP stipend again. We'll be talking about the reconciliation stuff as well. And we can talk about that during the Provider Advisory Committee. And Lindsay just put that in the chat there for everyone. So that's going to be this next Thursday, February 8th. You can join via Zoom, and that link will directly take you there. I don't think you have to register in advance. All right, let's see here. Carly, we have a lot going on. Why don't I have you give your updates? There was a few things that happened. One, I will just ask, I'll have you kind of start with the Sierra College vendorization. And then if you want to talk about the LPA stuff. And then if there's any highlights from the DDS employment meeting, or the DDS updates that we received, or that you received, because I was gone by then, at the ARCA Employment Committee, if there's any updates that you think would be beneficial to folks. It's a lot. Carly does a lot, though. She's in all these meetings that are very important. So go for it, Carly.
So, first of all, I'm super pleased to announce that the Sierra College Life program, it stands for Learning Independence for Future Employment, is officially vendored. Angel Garcia, the program manager, will hopefully be available sometime in the coming weeks to do a spotlight and talk more about the program. As some of you may remember, we've spoken about it before. So this LIFE program is kind of a branch off of the LIFE project, of which Alta was a co-applicant for the DDS employment grant. So the grant was that we received was kind of, the purpose was to create a more streamlined pipeline from education or secondary education through college to employment. So this program is one component of it. It is an 055 community integration training program. They will assist with kind of learning a lot of those soft skills needed for employment. They will support with education if anyone wants to pursue an AA degree, a certificate. If they just want to take classes on campus at Sierra College, they will be supported to do so. They also have a tailored day service component, PIP, CIE, and we hope that sometime in the future, they will also have a residential component, so it will be a full inclusive living college experience. This was created to replicate the Taft program, the Transition to Independent Living program down in Taft. So we're super excited. It's officially vendored. They are taking applications right now. They're going to have they're officially going to begin in August when Sierra College's fall program or fall semester starts, but they're going to kind of have like a soft opening earlier than that in the spring. So their students can kind of get to know each other. They can go out and start doing activities, but their hard start will be in August. Michelle, I'll put a link to their flyer, and their flyer does have the link for the applications. Oh, thanks, John.
And I dropped their website on there, the Sierra College website, that I think has everything.
Yeah, it should have the flyer and the link for the applications.
Oh, it's got our newsletter articles in there too. Look at that. Cool.
So yeah, it's been about a year that we've been working on this, so we're super excited that it's finally completed. It's going to be a great program.
Yeah, I feel like I got tricked. It was like, hey, John, we're going to do one thing with Sierra College, and now we're doing 14 things with Sierra College, which is cool. I do enjoy driving up to Rockland like once a week, but it's just neat to see. Like, we've been sending people down to Taft for how long, for how many years, separating all these young adults so far away from their families, which in some cases might be helpful to promote independence. But, for a lot of people, it made it prohibitive for our clients and family members and planning teams to feel like people could go that far away. And so just imagine like all of these people that are going to be able to learn these like independent skills in this environment and not have to travel all the way down to beautiful Taft, California. So again, Carly, I think this is really cool. Like, I just it's neat to be able to have this. The president of the university a couple days, or at the university of the college a couple days ago, was talking about how he's been dreaming since 2016 of being able to partner with Alta on projects and be able to do things, and how it's finally happening. Our old executive director, Phil Bonet, made a big deal about always wanting to partner with Sierra College and wanting to do this type of project. And so it's cool that the vendorization finally happened after so many years of talking about it, and so many years of our clients having to go so far away to be able to get something like this that they want. So it's very, very cool, very exciting for us.
And they did receive a housing grant to build some dorms. So that is something that is in the process. It's still a couple years out. But that is something
We're gonna update that next.
Oh, perfect. And they are starting off small with their capacity. The first cohort is only going to be 12 clients. But they do intend to expand to up to 60.
Awesome. Very cool. Let me talk about that in conjunction with, and then we'll jump over to the employment specialist meeting, or the employment committee, ARCA employment
The
committee.
LPA.
There it is. Yes. So the LPA too. So Rhonda and I had an opportunity to go to a housing meeting with Sierra College on Wednesday, I think it was. Yeah, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one of these days. And it was put on by the president, Willie, of Sierra College, and it was attended by the deans, by the architect of the school, by the district representative for Suzanne Jones from Placer County. Supervisor Shanti Landon was there with her chief of staff. And then we had the people from Rockland Roseville planning that were there too. And also one of the board members from Pride Industries that's been working closely with a lot of the activities up there. And the idea is that they're building all the new dorms on campus there that Carly was just talking about. But that means that the old dorms are vacant. And the idea for the LIFE program is, we've kind of seeded it now there at Sierra College, but the next step would be able to offer a residential option. And so the purpose of the meeting was for all of us to kind of sit around and talk about what it's going to take to turn the existing dorms that are there into, which are like double occupancy, into single occupancy, like in essence, similar to what you've heard about the Living Learning Lab that we have at UC Davis Redwood Seed Program, kind of a somewhat similar of an idea. And so, or like they have down at Taft as well. They have got the residential component down there. So it was great, but one of the things that they really focused on is not just doing those dorms and then converting that into short-term housing for people that are participating in the program, but then to develop more affordable housing for those people once they move out of there as well. And so that was the cool aspect about it, is that that Sierra College both wants to support both development for housing on campus for people with developmental disabilities, but also they want to, through their connections and support, they want to support affordable housing out in the communities around there as well, so that once those students attend that residential program, that they have a place where they can go to afterwards. And so it was great for us because we've already got a good relationship with folks up in Placer County, and we've got our you guys have heard us talk about our Disability Housing Alliance, which is our group of family members, advocates, and folks from the political world up there, and all throughout our catchment area that we meet with every month. And so we were able to get a lot of movement there in Placer County is starting to kind of come together. So that was exciting for us. We definitely want to support Sierra College in being able to do that. It is ridiculously expensive. I don't even want to tell you all the number that they quoted to do the dorms and the renovation there, but we're early on in the process, but Alta is going to be right there, throughout the development of it, making sure that we've got a good, local residential option, as well. Some folks have, some folks are very pleased because they're able to utilize Meristem, but people also want to have, another option that's attached to the college as well. So there's that's going on. And Rhonda and I really enjoyed being kind of at the ground floor of those discussions. And then Carly we also had another meeting about the LPAs too.
Yeah, so LPAs, or the local partnership agreements, these were created from the CIE blueprint. So they are kind of communities of practice that include us, Department of Rehabilitation, and then the local school districts. Really, it's just we get together and we kind of kind of strategize better plans for getting individuals into competitive integrated employment. We currently have 5 in our catchment area. 4 of them are active. So part of an idea that we had in the LIFE project that I previously discussed was to get all of these LPAs together in one room at one event. We're calling it an LPA summit to discuss what all these plans and what all of these ideas are that each LPA is coming up with individually, and discuss it all together. One of the big ideas that I think each LPA is trying to figure out how to do is some kind of universal referral system between the school districts, Department of Rehabilitation, and the regional center. That is still something that's been an ongoing conversation that everyone is trying to figure out. But so that's an event that I think it was going to be March. I think we've pushed it off now to April. Don't have a date for that yet, but really looking forward to that. We're hoping to get really some great ideas out of that.
And then one last thing on my Carly updates for today is I'm going to go over to the DSP Collaborative website, and I'm going to share my screen real quickly, and maybe we'll guide us to our news and events page.
Before we do that,
So-
do you want me to provide the updates on the employment?
Oh yeah, the
Committee?
employment committee. Yeah, please.
We had our quarterly employment specialists committee yesterday, Thursday. Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a few pretty good updates. So they were able to provide us regarding the ACRE and SEPS training. They don't have it broken down by regional center yet. But they were able to tell us that I think they said as of December 15th, there were 118 providers who submitted requests for the payments. And out of those within those 118 providers, there were 342 staff that completed the ACRE and SEPS training. So again, they don't have that broken down yet by regional center. Hopefully we'll get that information soon. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how many of our staff completed it. It's a great opportunity for anyone providing those employment services supports to get that training. And then also regarding the QIPs and the Quality Incentive Program, we've gotten feedback that people are still waiting on those payments. They've submitted the payments to DDS as instructed, and we haven't received any guidance on that yet either. We did mention that to Ernie Cruz, the Deputy Director of the Community Services Division. He is taking that back to try and get some answers, and will let us know kind of what that situation is looking like. So as soon as we get an answer on that, we'll share it with you. And then the last update I think I'll share is the Coordinated Career Pathways. This is the customized employment pilot that they previously said would be shared or released in November of 2023. It is they're currently finalizing the rate. They do anticipate to have all aspects completed and ready to be reviewed at their next employment work group at the end of February. And they do anticipate having this rate or this new service code released in February.
Excellent. Any questions for Carly about the employment committee meeting?
What was the new service code?
They're calling it Coordinated Career Pathways. We don't have an actual service code number for it yet, but that's what they're calling it. It was previously named something else, and I would have to go back into my older notes to look at what it was called, but now it is Coordinated Career Pathways.
All right. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to share my screen real quickly with our DSP Collaborative website. And everyone can see that hopefully okay. Yeah, I see heads nodding. So going to the, we still have our banner here, and we'll continue to have our banner up for our February 23rd early start job fair. I know that Lynn Arner sent out a message to folks to share that excuse me, as widely as possible. But I mean, again, there's like, I don't know, about 90 of you on right now. So even if you know someone in your family that might want a job working for one of our service providers that's interested in early start, we are going to be hosting this job fair here at the regional center. And so just really want to encourage people again. Um, you know, we can do all the outreach in the whole wide world, and we can work and do intake for as many people as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the staff to be able to provide the services to our clients, still causes us to have huge issues with people getting their needs met. And so for us, it is very important that we are supporting your hiring by doing these, you know, kind of vendor only events. And so we've mentioned this before, but now on our website, Carly, we have
We
a
have
flyer,
the
right?
Yeah, the flyer for the upcoming Disability Industry Career Expo. So this here is the flyer for the job seekers, for anyone that wants to get a job working for our DSPs. I don't know if we uploaded the one for employers to sign
Why
up.
not?
I have it if you want to let me
Yeah,
share.
that's the one. Yeah, let me have you share that one that has the employers
Yeah.
link on it. And I think you should be able to put it in the chat as well
Yeah.
for people. But we do want to encourage people to do this. We heard loud and clear at our um, last job fair that we had done previously that you know, it was very important that we look at our entire catchment area. And so I think having you know, one up in the Yuba City area is going to be very helpful for us.
Real quick, Sean, you need to give me permission to share.
All right, let me do that. And it looks like you already put this file there. Perfect.
Okay. So this is the flyer for employers to sign up for the job fair. We're working with Sutter One Stop. They are sharing it with everyone they work with. We already have had several job seekers sign up. It's going to be right next to their main office. We've also scheduled it for a time that they have classes going, so people will be coming in and out frequently. So there should be a lot of foot traffic. So you can either scan the QR code or you can click the register here link to sign up. Definitely want to, encourage anyone who serves the Yuba, Marysville, Sutter areas to take advantage of this event. This will be our third event, the fourth event, and for the DSPS collaborative. We've learned from each event. We kind of know, moving forward what to work on, how we can, make each event better. So definitely want to encourage you to come to this event.
All right. Any questions about that for Carly? We definitely want to support these events. I think, you know, we're going to continue looking at different locations that we can do them, different ways in which we can promote them, and, you know, certainly want any feedback from you as service providers about better ways that we can do that. With that being said, speaking of feedback, Carly, for those people that participated in the Sierra College Job Fair, we've sent a survey out, and Carly has sent out, I believe, at least one reminder email for people that did the survey to respond back and let us know whether or not you hired people, what your responses were. So please, if you could review your emails. I know Carly mentioned, I think when we talked about this previously, that it may not have gone to you. It may have gone to some other person that signed up for your for the job fair. So if you did not respond back, you know, please see that you do, and hopefully we don't have to start reaching out to folks, because we want to be able to get the data on how effective these things are when we're looking at doing our future planning.
And
Cool.
I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
Perfect. That's
So.
even better. Yes. So for those of you, don't worry about double reporting it. If you don't think you guys reported it, let us deal with it on our end with your data that comes in. But please give us the information so that we can know what's kind of working and what's not working. All righty. Let's see. So let me go now over to a couple upcoming things. We have for Alta, let me go to Alta's calendar real quick. News and events. All right. So just to share kind of upcoming things, we already talked about the Provider Advisory Committee meeting. The agenda is in there as well. I saw Myra on here, so I think they R&D is going to be doing a spotlight, or they're going to have a presentation in there. So if you want to learn more about our transportation broker, you're also welcome to participate in that meeting next Thursday. So upcoming, we have our community meetings. This year going to be coming up on a quarterly basis, and information will be shared in those meetings from members of our executive management team. And again, it gives us an opportunity to have a regular communication on a quarterly basis with our community. Additionally, we have some training materials that have been put up here related to HCBS. We have, let me go down to the calendar real quickly. So for the calendar, we've got, again, you can see our upcoming activities. We've got Adult Day and Employment Vendor Forum. We've got our upcoming Yolo County Town Hall meetings that are going to be occurring. And again, just, want to encourage folks to check out our events calendar. We did mention it last week, and I saw Jordan on here as well, but our RFPs are being posted for the community placement plan and community placement plan and community resource development plan for this fiscal year. And on February 23rd, which is that Friday, Coffee with Community Services, we will be doing our RFP orientation, where people can hear all about our different services. Some of you are participating in those RFP orientations every year. This will be the first year where we get to do it. Let's see. And in the chat, we have, what date and time will the meeting discussing transportations be taking place? It is in the chat. It's at the Provider Advisory Committee meeting, and it is going to be next Thursday from, when do we meet from? Like 9:30 to 11:30. And it's, and it's in Zoom as well. The link is on there. But people are all welcome to come as well, unless you have any cold or flu symptoms. Everyone's been sick around the office, so don't come by if you've got any of that going on. But otherwise, we always happy to see people. It's always lively when you guys are there in person as well. Let's see real quickly. I know we submitted our HCBS grant stuff. We don't need to get into kind of all the specifics. Maybe we can touch bases with folks a little bit more about that. The only question that I have, and maybe Alicia or Kylie or Marty or anyone knows the answer, do we know about how long it's going to take DDS possibly to give us an indication of whether or not our proposal has been approved?
Last year, it took 5 weeks from the time we submitted.
So I would just preview folks real quickly that as far as, things that we had talked about previously in this meeting, we are looking at funding the Station MD, which is the mobile ER that has the trained doctors that you can call to provide supports to our clients that are living, independently, living with residential facilities, wherever. So we have a grant that we're doing with them to provide trainings to some different DSPs. Also, we have a small amount of money for continuing to support the DSP Collaborative. Our dear friends down at Valley Mountain Regional Center, we learned, put a quite large ask for funding for the DSP Collaborative down there. And so for those of you that have been part of the collaborative, we're going to be looking at re-meeting once they have their new executive director on. We're going to give her a couple of weeks to, get her feet wet. And then we'll get back meeting about the DSP Collaborative, because we want to provide you updates on what's gone on over the last few months. Carly and I have been kind of busy and with VMRC as well. And so we've got some things that we'll be sharing with folks about the DSP Collaborative in the upcoming months here. And we did I will say, for me, it was very exciting. We did our in-person coordinated future planning training on Tuesday. We had about 100 of our service coordinators and managers that were present there. We had presentations by service providers. We had Calvin from the Milieu Center was there. We had Marcus, one of residential providers, Marcus Huff, and we had presentations. Jennifer Bloom did a presentation as one of it. We had Betsy, who's one of our parents and also a board member from the ARC of California, do presentations for it. Reva did presentations for it. I think it's the most speakers that we've ever jammed into a 2-hour training, but that was just the first half of it. And this is our coordinated future planning initiative, looking at, the challenge of our many clients that are residing at home with their aged caregivers and ensuring that we're providing ample opportunities for appropriate future planning. So I thought it went pretty well on Tuesday. It was interesting going from a training that we've only done via Zoom during COVID to doing it live and in person. But it's been a very important initiative for our regional center. It's part of our strategic plan for housing as well. And so I really appreciate, Herman kind of led the first half, and then Jennifer led the second half, and the speakers were amazing. And it's always nice when there's people other than regional center management doing the trainings, and we have, clients and family members, really sharing with our staff. So, and we have so many new staff too. That's the other thing that's really nice. Like in that room, for many of us, there was a lot of service coordinators that I certainly hadn't met before. Other things just coming up. We do have the provider advisory committee meeting next Thursday. We have client advisory committee on Tuesday. Anything else regarding provider advisory committee that we want to talk about before Thursday? I know if people want to talk more about the rate study implementation, if they want to talk about the upcoming budget hearings and like being able to know when those budget hearings are, I guarantee you it's all going to be talked about on Thursday at the provider advisory committee meeting, because now they've published the dates for the upcoming budget hearings. February 28th. Look at that. Anything else for the pack to the folks know? I don't think so. All right. Well, in that case, let's see. If Michelle or Jennifer had anything else, I don't know that we've got any other big things. I know we're working on the performance contract. So folks in the next in March, we'll have an opportunity to look at some draft ideas, and we'll begin the feedback process that goes on for the regional center performance contract that I think gets submitted around June or something like that, if I remember correctly. But there's a whole feedback process. You guys have been part of it before. We've talked about it in here. We've talked about it at the provider advisory committee meeting, and so we're starting to work on that with our executive management team. So you'll have good opportunities. And right on, Hannah Interpreting, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to talk to our staff, and please check, grab the information out of the chat if you need to. Anyone that is interested in more information about Hannah. And please, if you are a service provider, especially if you're a new service provider, please don't hesitate to reach out to Jason to get yourself featured on here. It's a great way for us to really get to know you as service providers. And like I said, we did 252 vendorizations last year. So there's a whole lot of you new service providers out there. So with that being said, it is noon. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care, stay dry, and we'll look forward to talking to everyone next week. Okay? Take good care, folks.
Bye. Have a good weekend.